Yes, I do miss owning an Abarth. I would like to own another Abarth. Upon test drive, the car didn't feel slow. He was kind of pressurising me like, well, what you thinking, you're going to buy it or not? Never thought about a car so long. I wanted to own Abarth number 5. A decision was made finally by myself. I was buying the car, it was a done deal. Nah. Hang on a minute. Right guys, have I got a story to tell you? And no, this is not clickbait. But to tell this story, I need to go and find an Abarth. Found an Abarth. Now let's talk. So then guys, this is a true story of how I tried, how I bought, so I thought, my 5th Abarth. But it didn't quite go to plan. Not my fault. Not my fault at all. It is no secret that ever since my Abarth days, I have not been able to own a car. The main reason being, when I used to own my Abarths, all 4 of them, they were on finance. And when you own a finance car, it's not so easy to give them back every couple of months. So I was forced to own said 4 Abarths for kind of a while. And as I have openly stated a couple of times now recently on the channel, I need my next car that I own to be one that I can actually keep for a few reasons. Well, to be honest, the main reason I need to keep a car long enough is mainly for YouTube, which is a big passion project hobby of mine, because you guys get sick and tired of me swapping cars, most of you guys do. And as you guys are aware, because of the videos on the channel, I have recently started going to a local Abarth group, and I've been attending their meets and being surrounded by Abarths and fellow Abarth owners. I get a lot of people in person and online saying to me, you should get another Abarth, do you miss not owning an Abarth? And to be honest, the answer to that question is yes, I do miss owning an Abarth. And it's fair to say that I know these Abarths like the back of my hand. And my last Abarth that I owned was the one that I actually modified, and that was definitely the best Abarth I've ever owned out of the 4 that I had owned. My last one, which I owned, which of course was the Abarth 595 Trofeo in yellow. So, the news you guys might have been waiting for. An admission from me, I would like to own another Abarth. So with that in mind, I'd actually driven past an Abarth for sale at a local used car dealership. Just so happened that Martin had actually worked there at this dealership before. And late one Sunday afternoon, whilst the dealership was still open, me and Martin popped there and had a look at said Abarth. The salesman there recognised Martin from back when they used to work together, and I got given the keys and I had a look around this Abarth, and I even had my photo taken with it as well. And I will insert some photos. Seeing this Abarth, it was kind of cheap because it was a Series 3 model, a late Series 3 model on a 2016 plate. This Abarth gave me some food for thought, and I was thinking about it. Could this be Abarth number 5 for me? Could I buy it? Did I like it? And with those thoughts going through my mind, I booked in a test drive with this sales guy one evening after work. So a 2016 late Series 3 model Abarth, and it was also the basic spec of Abarth, basic power. It was the 130 bhp model. So I was intrigued to test drive it because I don't think I remember really driving a 130 bhp Abarth. And considering to the ones that I'd done before, I was thinking that this Abarth was going to be slow. Upon test drive, the car didn't feel slow. Pretty sure the car had been remapped because the 130, it felt quicker than that, in my personal opinion. But either way, test drive happened. It was used Abarth and it felt good to drive. It was nice to drive it felt quick, and I liked it. Upon handing the keys back to the sales guy and saying thanks for letting me drive it, he was kind of pressurising me like, well, what you thinking, you're going to buy it or not? And to any salesman's frustration, I wasn't willing to basically say yes or no right there after having this car in my thoughts for like 2 days. So I did the sensible thing for once, and I said I'd have a think about it. And as I say, I think the guy, this was actually the owner who I was dealing with now, he didn't quite understand why I couldn't make a decision there and then. But yeah, I did make a decision and I went away and thought about it. And I must be getting certainly old in my age, because I've never thought about a car so long. Back in my younger years, I'd just go and finance a whip, but nowadays it's totally different. But after about a week of me and ahhing and thinking all this over, a decision was made finally by myself. And yes, I wanted to own a Abarth number 5. So let's make the phone call to the dealership and do a deal. Now, one thing to note, I offered the dealership a price for the car. I basically offered them £1,000 less because they'd reduced it. and I offered him another £500 less, so it made the car £1,000 cheaper than when I'd first saw it. And that was on a condition of, don't bother MOTing it, don't bother servicing it, I'll just have it as it is. So less work and less money for the dealership to spend, I then get a £1,000 cheaper car. With that, the original salesman I was speaking to in the first place had said that they would agree to my offer, and yeah, I was buying the car. So with that, I went and phoned my people, got my people to speak to the dealership and to get them talking, sort out the old finances, monies and all that kind of good stuff. So that was it then, guys. I finally made my decision after about a week of thinking about this car. I had money in place to buy this car, and the salesman said that I was buying the car. It was a done deal. And with that, all afternoon, I was kind of a bit worried that I bought myself a fifth of Bath. Was it the right thing to do? But too late, I bought it. And that evening, me and Martin, as you do, all excited and that, we drove up to the used car dealership whilst it was not open, of course, and we had a quiet little wander around the forecourt, and there it was. My Abarth had the sold sign on it, and of course I stood there proudly with the dog lead in hand, and I posed for photos, a bit like this, pointing at the sold sign, because that Abarth had my name on it. It didn't, it had a sold sign on it, but that's because I bought it, and it was exciting times. Nah. Hang on a minute. I get a phone call the next morning from the third party people, the people that are sorting the money for this car. They say, we've had an email from the dealership to say that they want to cancel the deal because they've sold the car. And I said, well, yeah, they've sold the car. They sold it to me. That's what's happening, isn't it? You can actually see the reflection, the shadow there on the seat of my Driven 24/7 sticker that my parents of Bath is proudly wearing. That's pretty cool. After that worrying phone call, I was very confused, and I kind of always knew that this was going to end badly because I couldn't make a decision quick like I usually would. I left it too long to think about this car, and I just didn't think it was meant to be, and that's what happened. I phoned the dealership, no answer. Then the owner got back to me, and I said, I've just had a worrying phone call. Care to explain? I can't remember the phone call word for word, but this is basically what had happened. The owner said to me on the phone, it was like, yeah, we've cancelled your deal. And I was like, yeah, so it seems. Why? Oh, we've sold the car. I said, yeah, you sold it to me. No, we've sold it to someone else. And I was like, but you sold it to me. Well, when did you sell it to someone else? Yesterday afternoon. But you sold me the car yesterday afternoon. We received their money through for the car quicker. Yeah, but I never knew there was someone else interested in this car. Like, I didn't know there was anyone else in the running. There was, yeah, they came in a bit before you, they test drove it, they put their name down. What happened was, just as we were invoicing the car through in your name, they came in and said that we'd have it. I said, so, when you were in the middle of selling the car to me, you decided to sell it to the other person? And the guy said, yeah. I was like, but you sold it to me first. Honestly, so basically, I bought a car. This is how embarrassing it is for me. Although this isn't obviously my fault. I bought the car on an afternoon. We went there in the evening, and I had photos next to a car that I thought I'd bought. Turns out I was having photos next to a car that had a sold sign on for someone else. So I was having photos next to someone else's sold car, which I thought was mine. Were the dealership ever going to tell me that they doubly sold the car and that it wasn't to me? Because I've just had photos in front of what I thought was my sold car. Turns out it wasn't. It wasn't even my sold car. It's been sold to someone else without me even knowing. Then this guy goes on to proceed with, well, if you hadn't taken so long to think about it. I said, yeah, I did take long to think about it. You're right. But I told you yesterday that you told me yesterday that the car was mine. You sold me the car yesterday. And now you're telling me that after I bought the car, someone else has bought it. Basically, what they were saying is totally isn't right, but basically what they were saying is they'd received the money through for the Bath quicker from someone else and not me. And also, I bet the other person bought the car at full whack, unlike I was intending to, although what I'd offered was accepted. Guys, I was absolutely devastated. I was annoyed, quite a bit confused, and upset too. It just totally messed with my head. To be honest, guys, that was the main thing that confused me and got to me the most. It wasn't the fact that I wasn't buying my fifth of Bath. It wasn't the fact that the deal was off as such. It was the fact that I went from being really, really happy that I bought myself another Abarth to it's literally been robbed and taken off me, and that isn't the case at all. And I don't mean to delve too deep and depressive about it, but for an ex-mental health sufferer, being really high and then on a really low ever so quickly without it being your fault really messes with your head. And funnily enough, this happened on World Mental Health Day. Now, we're all used to being messed around when you buy a car privately, but for this to have happened to me from an actual used car dealership, there was obviously no loyalty to the fact that Martin used to work there. Well, no respect for me as a customer, whether Martin used to work there or not. They didn't care about how I felt at all. And the scary thing is, they probably wouldn't have even let me know, because I found out through the third party where the money was coming from. I didn't find out from the dealership. I had to call the dealership, and then they had to explain to me. So just to summarise, because a lot has happened, I went to buy Abarth number 5. It wasn't really an Abarth I wanted, but because it was the only one around cheap, I came to the idea of I should probably buy this one because it's meant to be. And I obviously felt about the Abarth for so long like I never have any car before, because maybe there was a sixth sense in me telling me not to buy it. It turns out that when I did buy it, I actually hadn't bought it because someone else had bought it apparently after me. And yeah, I've since looked at reviews of this dealership and they mess people around with warranty, selling dodgy cars. As I say, there was just no care given for me, the customer. He just blamed it on the fact that I had a thought about it for too many days, and it was my fault basically for not making this answer sooner, which is what a dealership always wants. But that is a story of how I thought I'd bought Abarth number 5. I was told I'd bought Abarth number 5. Turns out I actually hadn't bought Abarth number 5. Yeah, what an absolute madness. So there we have it then, guys. I do listen to and read your comments, and I listen to you when you say you should get another Abarth, and I started to think I do actually want one. And when I tried to buy one, when I was trying to own another one of these, as I say, I did try, and it was a big fail, but not from my part. Do I want another Abarth? Yes, I do want another one. I just don't know when it's going to be, because as I've already said, and as you guys already know, I love the Abarth brand. Owning an Abarth back in the day grew my channel, and I used to love modifying my last one, and it's always so much better to attend an Abarth meet in an Abarth. Do you see what I'm saying? So I just had to tell you the story, guys, because as I always say, I'm open and honest, and I literally went and tried, and I bought what I thought was my 5th Abarth. Turned out the dealership had other ideas. But anyway, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully you guys will back me up, and just that this story and the reason it's happened is an absolute complete shambles. Have you ever had any bad experiences like this buying from a used car dealership? Then make me feel a bit better by letting me know your awful car buying stories in the comments below. As I say, I do definitely want another Abarth. I just don't know when it's going to be, but I don't know. Thanks for watching. Just thanks for watching, really. What a story this was. Jesus. Which will be a car that I can actually own. Own? What am I on about? Buying a car which I can buy in a car